Hey adventurers, so today is going to be my review of Don't Die Dave by A.R. Witham. This is a lit RPG, which is literature role-playing game. That's RPG stands for. This is science fiction and kind of a bit of a comedy. But yeah, I'll get into more of my thoughts on that as we go through here. Don't Die Dave is a sci-fi action comedy about a cancer patient who is given one last opportunity to be able to pay off his medical bills. If he accepts, he will have his consciousness entered into the Riftborn video game, which is an in-world video game, where he can play in order to pay for his treatments. But, as is always the case, there's a catch. He has to stay alive and profitable. I did receive an e-arc and an audiobook arc from the author for this book, and that's how I've got to it so quickly. And I just mentioning that because it is important that I mention it and say that I did receive it, and in exchange for an honest review. And so that's my plan here, is just to give it an honest review. Before I get into the review though, I just quickly like to say welcome to an Erudite adventure. I'm T. If you're liking what you're seeing from us, please like, comment, and subscribe. This is really nothing like anything I've ever read. I haven't read any other lit RPGs previously, so I can't say that I'm terribly familiar with the format. Witham does cite Dungeon Crawler Carl as an inspiration for this book, but since I haven't read that, I can't comment on similarities or differences or anything regarding that. What I can say is that this book feels like a combination of Free Guy, Tron, and Ready Player One, as well as kind of some other things. You might throw in Fortnite in there, for example. It just, like, it's very much exactly what it sounds like in the way that it's portrayed. Previously from Witham, I had read The Legend of Blackjack and the Locke Institute trilogy, all of which I had loved. They're fantastic books, and so I trusted Witham as an author to give me another enjoyable book, but I really didn't know what to expect here. And immediately from the opening sentences, he slaps you in the face in a way that ensures that you understand Don't Die Dave is not a Keymark novel. This is not the same set in the same world. This is not the same style as The Legend of Blackjack or the Locke Institute trilogy. It's crude, comedic, slightly irreverent maybe, and more adult in its language than any of his previous books have been. But as you continue through the book, you come to the realization that this is still an Andy Witham novel, which means that there is a ton of heart, charm, and character development and action. It's very fast-paced, and it's a lot of fun to read. As I just alluded to, the book does use significantly more adult language, to the point where normally I would have gotten fed up with it and probably DNF'd the book. But the way Witham does it is, with this story, is that the story is set in a video game, which means that the language is bleeped out. You know what's being said because it's very easy to understand through the bleeps what's being said, but it's bleeped out, and so you don't actually have to hear the language itself, which kind of allows him to get away with it a little bit more, which in turn actually adds to the humor of this book. But there are also no subtle implications here. It is brazen and in your face what is going on. Once again, you are in a video game, and the other characters throughout the story are players as well, which means that they are acting just like real life gamers do. From squeakers to tryhards and everything in between, and it's just kind of like, this feels like I'm in a Fortnite lobby and just listening to all the people chatter and yell at each other, and it's kind of fun in that way because it's something so realistic, but at the same time it's all done for the sake of telling this story that Witham is trying to tell. Through it all, Witham has a level of commentary on the real world. It's not super heavy, and it's not the main focus of the story, but there is a little bit of that in there. But it also just doesn't take over the story. It just kind of points things out as it goes, and I appreciate seeing that from him or seeing his execution of that, rather, is how I should say that. I can't really say that I'm a huge fan of comedy in general. When the whole point of a story is just for the ha-has, it's not really interesting to me. I don't find that engaging. I don't find it interesting. Like, I might laugh at it and I might have fun while I'm watching a comedy or something like that, but it's not really terribly enjoyable to me. And so it's a different... I don't find myself being in love with comedy that much. I want a story first. So even though this book is pretty absurdist and comedic, I was still able to find things about it that I really enjoyed. And that comes down to the storytelling and Witham's ability to tell a story. He tells a good story about this character, this Dave character, and his life that he's dealing with, and the things that are going on, and the reason why he's doing what he's doing, and the way that he acts and interacts with other people. It's a good story, as well as the comedic aspects that don't really... Well, they add flavor to the book, and they inform what this book is, but that's not the things that are important to me. What's important to me is the story that's going on. Overall, the best way for me to describe my experience with this book is that I had a blast with it. It's not really my thing, and it hasn't moved the needle at all for me on whether I'm going to read Dungeon Crawler Carl or not. I'm not going to read that. I have no desire to, and I also like being contrarian just for the sake of it sometimes, and this is one of those series where I'm like, absolutely not. Besides the fact that I have no desire to, I also just want to not read it because it's so popular. I still refuse, but I did enjoy this. And I think Witham is a great writer. He has yet to disappoint me as an author, and though this may not be set in Keymark, you might hear references to it. Overall, I really enjoyed this. My time with this book, I really had a fun time, and I was able to, first off, I appreciate Witham as an author and as a writer and a storyteller, and so I was able to appreciate that, even though the genre, the style is not really probably something for me as a general rule, but I still had a good time with the book. And so if this sounds like something you might enjoy it. I would recommend picking it up for sure. If you know and are familiar with the lit RPG genre, it may not be something that is terribly new or unique to the genre. I don't know, because I haven't consumed anything else in the genre. But I did have fun, and I thought it was kind of a breath of fresh air because it's not really fantasy, it's not really sci-fi, but it kind of uses both. I mean, since it's a video game, you kind of get access to both of those, and you can take and play with them as you want to. There's lots of references to a lot of old 80s movies and stuff like that. A lot of them that I haven't seen, a lot of them that I have or no references to. In a lot of ways, like Ready Player One is a good comparison. I think Tron to some degree is as well, although not the best, although I think Tron is referenced if I remember correctly. And then what was the other one that I said? Free Guy, which is a film that came out fairly recently, a couple years ago. That's a movie that I feel like is very similar in tone to this book. So if those types of things sound interesting to you, I would recommend it. So anyways, that is my review of Don't Die Dave by A.R. Witham. Thank you guys for watching an Erudite Adventure. We post videos every Monday and Thursday, and our social media is linked in the description down below. We'll see you guys again soon. Stay warm.